The opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and are not those of WSTU. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. The phone lines are open. Call in with your questions and comments at 220-9788. That's 220-WSTU. It's time for Stuart Laser Talk with your host, Dr. Tred J. Rosacker.
I'm 5'10" and 242 pounds.
I always say this is the biggest I'm ever going to be, and I said that like 20 pounds ago.
A third of Americans are obese, another third is overweight.
Obesity is the biggest threat to the health, welfare, and future of this country.
I've always been overweight.
I've got diabetes,
Sleep apnea, heart disease.
everything's hurting now.
It's a lot easier to lose weight than it is to keep weight off.
This is probably going to be the first generation of children who are going to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents.
18% of our children right now are obese.
It's not only health, it's about survival and well-being of the United States as a nation.
You don't crave broccoli, and our generation has grown up craving a Big Mac.
I want to think that there's something better for me.
Unless we're able to control this epidemic, we're going to have an abundance of chronic disease.
All of us have to be part of the solution to reduce obesity.
The weight of the nation is out of control, but we can fix that.
If we don't now take this as a really urgent national priority, we are all going to pay a really serious price.
Obesity will crush the United States in oblivion.
Study showing obesity factors heavily in coronavirus risk. The largest U.S. study conducted on COVID-19 with 4,000 patients in New York participating found that after age, obesity was a significant factor associated with hospitalization. Individuals who are clinically obese or with a body mass index of over 30% have also made the list. How losing weight could be key to surviving COVID-19. Excess body mass makes it harder for lungs to supply oxygen to vital organs. A New York-based study found weight was the second biggest risk factor for dying from COVID-19. That 3/4 of the UK critically ill COVID-19 patients were overweight or obese. An astounding 2/3 of United States of America's adults are considered to be overweight. May 21st, 2020, WebMD. Life in lockdown has disrupted all our lives. It is creating the perfect setup for putting on pounds. While social media users jokingly refer to it as the quarantine 15, some estimate, a girl named Ray Bragger estimates she's gained about 8 pounds since her quarantine started. When this all started, I thought, oh, maybe I'd better get some junk food because we'll be bored and freaked out. It's good to have comfort food, says Bragger, who is a 40-year-old pediatrician, a mom of 2. That ballooned, and now it's around and available. None of my pants fit. Researchers say it's too soon to say for sure how widespread the weight gain really is. William Dietz, MD, PhD, chair of the Summer Redstone Global Center for Prevention and Wellness at George Washington University School of Public Health, says that staying indoors means most people are less active and many are eating more ultra-processed foods than they might otherwise. Add the anxiety that comes with a deadly pandemic, and you've got an ideal situation for weight gain, he says. In a poll of more than 1,000 U.S. readers of WebMD, nearly half of the women and almost 1/4 of the men said they have gained weight due to COVID restrictions. A separate poll of 900 international readers found more than half of men and about 1/3 of women are reporting weight gain. In the last 30 days, More than 500,000 Facebook users have engaged with terms around quarantine weight gain, including quarantine 15 and hashtag quarantine weight gain. For those who already struggled with obesity, gaining weight during the COVID-19 pandemic adds more risk. Early on, we noticed that all of our patients who were immediately intubated at our institution and others had BMIs, body mass indexes, over 35%, says Carolyn Apovian, medical director, and director of the Nutrition and Weight Management Center at Boston Medical Center. And she says they were younger. Preliminary research published in The Lancet has also found this connection. While calling it the quarantine 15 may sound cute, this phenomena bears little resemblance to the weight some college students put on during their freshman year, and it can have much more dangerous effects. The term freshman 15 is typically paralleled with fun. You've gone off to school by yourself, there's no parents, you just want to party, says Kirsten Kirkpatrick, a dietitian at the Cleveland Clinic. What we're experiencing, on the other hand, with quarantine 15 has nothing fun about it. If a substantial number of people emerge from quarantine having gained a lot of weight, it could have a significant effect on public health. The quarantine diet: more sugar, more carbs, and more alcohol. Some data show that people are eating more foods that may contribute to weight gain. A website called Lose It reported a 266% increase in eating candy in the last 2 weeks of March compared to February among its 1.4 million monthly active members, along with an increase in eating carbohydrate-heavy foods like bread, 54%, and noodles, 36%. Data provided by Weight Watchers shows their members are using the app to record. They're using and consuming almost 40% more baking ingredients like flour than they did before the lockdown. Among WebMD readers, 70% in the US and 35% internationally cited they were stress eating as a cause of their weight gain. One thing the freshman 15 and the quarantine 15 have in common: alcohol. Just as young college students may lean on drinking to get them through challenging situations, many of us are doing that right now. One report showed that sales of alcoholic beverages have gone up 55% in the early days of the lockdown. Drinking tends to make you gain weight, says Kirkpatrick, the nutritionist. First of all, you have those empty calories. And then there's the way it loosens your inhibitions, including those related to eating. After 2 glasses of wine with dinner, she said, healthy eating goes out the window. Finally, alcohol messes with your sleep. You may fall asleep quickly, but you probably won't sleep soundly. The next day, you cannot stop eating. In the WebMD reader polls, 21% of the people in the US and 17% internationally blame their weight gain on alcohol. For Bragger, the person who we first talked about, food takes the place of alcohol. Every little thing is another thing to be worried about. There's no comfort in any of it except at the end of the day, she says, I'd rather eat a bag of candy than have another adult beverage. Those are my vices, and I have to choose between them. Then there's our newfound, for some, sedentary lifestyle. With gyms and other facilities closed, you are forced to find your own way to work out. The activity that comes with going to work, even a desk job, getting to your workplace, physically going to meetings, and so on, has disappeared. The pedometer that used to show thousands of steps each day might now show only hundreds. And if you're a parent supervising your children's schooling while working from a carved out corner of your home, not to mention preparing every single meal, can be exhausting. More than 70% of WebMD readers in the US and internationally reported lack of exercise as a reason for their weight gain. The days are long, but they are also very short. Time just evaporates, and I'm finding it hard to muster energy to exercise. Some gain weight and some lose weight. Weight gain is not universal. The maker of a company that makes interconnected scales found that users had gained only half a pound in the first month of lockdown. According to the data provided by Lose It, users have lost less weight on average this March and April compared to the same months in 2019. So, my name is Dr. Tread Rissacker. I'm the owner, a doctor, and a client at the Slim Body Laser Spa. I'm a professional weight loss doctor. I'm using a laser, a low-level laser, safe, FDA-cleared device to help kickstart your weight loss goals, your weight loss issues. The data that I just read to you on WebMD doesn't shock me, but it should be very, very alarming to anybody out there. I mean, before the COVID 81 days of lockdown, we already had a problem with obesity in America. 40% of adult Americans are considered obese. 30% of men of the whole population and 40% of women are now considered obese, according to the CDC statistics. Obesity means that you have an over 30% of your total body weight has been turned into fat. And that means your muscle tone or your lean muscle mass has decreased. So you're becoming, the ratio from body fat to lean muscle needs to be 20-80. 20% body fat, 80% lean muscle mass. This is a healthy ratio which supports your immune system. It supports your body's functions. It supports everything that you would consider important in your life. As you fall away from exercising, more sedentary lifestyle, as you start eating foods which are not nutritious, these empty carbs they talk about, if you're increasing your alcohol consumption, if you're eating bags of candy or even a few candy bars, your body's muscle tone is starting to drop. When muscle tone goes down, fat goes up. And excess body fat is inflammatory. It is a health risk. It is probably the number one cause of sickness, loss of energy, loss of vitality, loss of how we feel about ourselves. It leads to strokes, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and just a miserable existence for many, many of us out there. Yet, we just don't seem to have any solutions. Solutions that make sense. I dedicated my life and my career to this problem. I've been in practice for 33 years as a chiropractor. My father practiced in New York State for 51 years before I ever got out of college. I took over his practice in 1989. And to say I was the golden child is an understatement. All I had to do was answer the phone. There was no marketing. There was no solicitation. You didn't have to belong to any insurance plans. My father had paid the price for many, many years. And to say that chiropractic is a gift to humanity is an understatement. But you have to find the right chiropractor. Not all chiropractors are the same, just like all policemen are not the same. But they are wonderful if you find the right one. I had lots and lots and lots of success, a great living, helping a lot of people. And then I decided in 2009 to help people to get off of drugs and injections and pain pills. I saw the opiate crisis firsthand in friends and family and people that I loved and cared for, and in my patients. I didn't understand why they were taking pain pills and how easy it was for them to get the pain pills from the medical offices. Instead of helping people find a solution for their problem, because in medicine, a solution for a musculoskeletal injury is basically physical therapy. And that's provided you got the coverage to go for physical therapy. Physical therapy can be expensive. And for many people out there who drag their loved one into a doctor's office because they can't move, or their back they sprained their back, or maybe they twisted their knee, or maybe they overextended their elbow. Once they rule out the fracture, once they determine that it's not a surgical problem, the next step is physical therapy. And if you don't have the coverage for physical therapy and you don't have insurance, it's probably not going to happen. So you go home with an ice pack. You go home being able to go to the drugstore and buy over-the-counter medicines. And that would be the Advils and the ibuprofen and the rubs, the gels you put on it, the back pain relief stuff. And it doesn't work very well because it's just not that effective. So now you're suffering. And the easy thing to do is to go back to the doctor, complain that you're not getting better and you're hurting. And then you get the script for an anti-inflammatory to reduce the inflammation, and a pain pill, typically a codeine-based Percocet, codeine, OxyContin, Anaprox, which used to be called, which is now Advil, but, Tramadol. These are very, very strong medications. And for some of us, we use them properly. But for a certain segment of the population, this is all it takes to go off to the races. And they didn't even have to go to the street corner and buy it from a pusher or a drug dealer. They got it from their doctor's office. I watched this again and again and again because, remember, I deal with musculoskeletal pains. So when people come in, and I found something to be very, very true. If somebody came into the chiropractic office with a complicated musculoskeletal problem, disc herniations, sciatic, radiculopathy in their arms, stiff, chronic neck pain, if they were on medications from the doctor, pain pills, anti-inflammatories, or other types of meds, their results at the chiropractic were half of somebody who wasn't taking the meds. In other words, the medicine actually deadened and interfered with their body's ability to repair itself. I saw this again and again and again. So it was, after watching this and feeling frustrated, and then I found out that I would educate people on the truth about drugs and how they're not helping you. They're simply pacifying and covering over your symptoms while your symptoms and your condition gets worse, but you're not feeling it now. In other words, they stop you from feeling the pain. and you go out and you ruin your joint because you're taking pills. And you know what happened? They yesed me. I hear what you're saying, doc. I know what you're saying. And then they lied to me and tell me that they weren't taking them. And I knew they were, because, people want relief. They need quick help. They want it now. They want it yesterday. And pills and drugs are so available and they're so think it's okay to take medicines all the time if they need it, that this became just an epidemic. So in 2009, I'm in my office, and this young chiropractor comes in to cover my office, to help me with treating for the whole week. I was going away for the week. And he tells me, "Hey, doc, what do I do when someone's in a lot of pain?" He says, "Do you have a laser?" And I was like, "A laser? Why would I have a laser, man? I'm a chiropractor. I'm not a surgeon. I'm not going to cut anything out." And he says, No. He says, it's taught in the chiropractic colleges. When I went, he was a new graduate. Hadn't been in chiropractic college 25 years. And he says, they now have lasers for therapy. They're therapeutic lasers. Now, therapy means to help address a problem, to initiate a cure or repair. That's what therapy means. And he said they teach them at the colleges, and it's low-level laser. It's using light energy, which is laser, but it's at a very low level. And depending on the color of the light, if it's green, blue, red, infrared, it can actually heal and repair damaged tissue. Not only relieve pain and reduce inflammation, but it can speed up the healing process. And I said to myself, now I can put ice on someone to get rid of inflammation. I can put heat and modalities to help reduce spasms and tight muscles, but I don't have anything in my repertoire to speed up the healing process. I mean, that's God's realm, in my opinion, is how quickly you heal. And, he got my interest. And that's when it all began for me 11 years ago, is that one doctor came in, and I knew so I got the process. I got a website. I bought the machine. It was called a cold laser. And I'm telling you this to educate you that these cold lasers really work, but they have to be applied correctly. Just like a hammer and a saw can build a beautiful house if you have the skills. If you don't have the skills, a saw and a hammer can destroy a house also, can it? So please understand that this technology, when used by the right person and the right skill and for the right reasons at the right time on the right area, is one of the most successful, helpful, incredibly effective tools I have ever seen, besides a chiropractic adjustment. And I'm prejudiced to chiropractic. I'm sorry. But these lasers are in medical offices now. They're in physical therapy centers. They use them in veterinarians for horses and dogs. And they're being used, in regular medical. Now, they're not covered by insurance yet. And I believe they're so effective that if they covered it by insurance, the drug companies would be out of business, because these things work. So I got my laser, and I realized that I could help the segment of my clients that were going to the doctor and taking medications, because I couldn't help them with their elbow pain, their knee pain. That's not my scope of practice. It's not to fix arthritic knees. You might think it is, but it's not what we learned in college. So the therapy is fairly ineffective for some. And that's also how good of a therapist you go to. And it's very expensive, and you have to go there all the time. These lasers, you can buy them online. And I started using laser therapy, and that changed my life. It changed my clients, my patients. I could not believe the effectiveness of these lasers for reducing pain, inflammation, and soreness and back problems. I formed a company called Laser Heal, laserheal.net. It was laser pain relief, and that was in 2009. And boy, did it take off. By the way, you're listening to Dr. Tread Rissacker. I own the Slim Body Laser Spa. I am using lasers to help you to kickstart your weight loss program. We're also using it for spot fat reduction. That would be tightening chins, getting rid of excess belly flaps, muffin tops are hanging over your pant belt line, cankles, swollen ankles, thighs that rub together, back fat. All these outer fat accumulations is what we're treating and helping people to get rid of using this low-level laser. And at the same time, I am using my skills as a chiropractor, which is a nutritionist and a wellness practitioner, to help teach you, to train you, to get you started on a program of eating better, losing weight, detoxification, so you can be a healthier, more functional, happy, free human being and not be a slave to medical tyranny. You're a slave to medical doctors and medical procedures when your health is terrible. If you have bad health, and it doesn't mean it came from genetics. I'll tell you some statistics on where sickness comes from in a moment here, so you can understand that. And well, I'll tell you right now, of the 100% of what makes us sick, only 2% is actually genetics. And this is well documented. So 2% of what's wrong with you could have happened from a genetic problem, and they blame everything on genetics. But I'm telling you, it's like 2%. Less than 10% of all the other ailments come from trauma, poisons, and infection, things that would infect you, poisons and trauma. In other words, you were poisoned by something, or something fell on you, or you fell into it and you broke your leg, you hit your head. The other 80% of sickness is lifestyle. It is what they call psychosomatic illness. It is what you call self-autosuggestion, things that you have created. Either it's through your lack of exercise, your lack of eating the right foods, the stress you're under, which is creating mental and emotional problems, which lead to increased hormone process. It's from fear, anxiety. It's from smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol too much of any one of those, not exercising. This is what leads to all of the health problems we have, not genetics and not trauma or poisons. Now, we're getting poisoned more and more from our environment, and I think that number could realistically change to be more of a problem because we have so many more environmental toxins than we had, 100, 200 years ago. But the fact remains that the number one source of why you're sick and what you can do to get better, it goes right back to lifestyle. I think most people know that. They just don't want to change. And the world doesn't really want you to change either. The medical pharmaceutical juggernaut, the industry of medical pharmaceutical industry, and the hospital industry and the medical industry, they do very well on you taking drugs all the time and never really addressing the cause. They give rhetoric that they do want you to be healthy and you need to be healthy, but the process, their principle is flawed. It's a failed principle. It's an acute care, crisis-oriented system. It's not a health-oriented system. They're not going to teach you how to be healthy. They might have I remember, I'll give you a great example. I do weight loss. I'm at the Slim Body Laser Spa. I had a client, somebody come in who was in their 60s, about 67, multiple comorbidities, diabetes, heart disease. He had a history of strokes. And this guy was over 38 to 40% body fat. He was morbidly obese. He was in his 60s and he was a vet, one of our treasured people who sacrificed a lot for our freedom. And he came into the spa and he wanted to know if it was covered by insurance. And nothing, weight loss is not covered by insurance. I don't care if you're in the hospital, it's not. But what they will do is they will cover you for gastric bypass. They'll cover you for lap bands, sleeves. But that doesn't really prevent why it happened in the first place. So he said, I don't want to have a surgery. I need help getting over this. So I went and I said, listen, I'm going to make some phone calls and I'll get back to you and see if there's a center anywhere. Cause I felt that he didn't know how to navigate the healthcare system and I'm much better at it. So I called Martin Memorial Health Systems before they were Cleveland, and I called St. Lucie Medical Center, and I called the VA. The only thing they offered beside gastric bypass, which was bariatric surgery, was they had a class that he could attend where they would go over some things about nutrition and food. A class. That was it. And that was only provided by the VA. Martin Systems did not have anything for him unless he was prepping for the gastric procedures. St. Lucie Medical Center had some classes he could go to, but it was nothing that was anything that he couldn't do online. They really didn't take it very seriously. Now, this guy has a lot of comorbidities. They were waiting for this is just the way the system works. There's no money in counseling. There's no big bucks in taking people. And if you get them better, you kind of lose your income because once they get better, they don't need your services anymore. Imagine that. So the system is against you. It's not positive. That is why places like the Slim Body Laser Spa, these health and wellness centers are becoming, why we're so successful, because we offer individualized personal approach to your health problem. Medicine is failing because they want a one pill, one problem approach to all the people. In other words, you understand what I'm saying? What they offer is a pill or a process that must be applied to everybody equally. That's how they make money. That's how they do their thing. And we are very different. Everybody has they come in with different skills. They come in with different problems. They have different genetic markers. They have different habits. You can't hit them all with the same problem, the same solution. Some are going to get better. Some are going to throw up and die from it. And they consider that an acceptable risk. When you come into places like what I do at the Slim Body Laser Spa, you are looked at individually based on your history, your genetic makeup, within reason. We don't do genetic testing, but it's pretty easy to ask some questions. Your habits, what food you like, what things you don't like, your history of the medications you're on, your side effects, and what you're willing to, your skills. What do you know about food? The first question I ask is, what'd you have for breakfast? Right? Well, I know about breakfast and I know it should be this. I said, no. What did you actually eat for breakfast? You had what? You had donuts or you skipped breakfast? That's a problem. So medicine, one of the reasons why they have so many bad outcomes is they're trying to treat everybody with the same pill, with the same solution. There's an old saying, if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem is a nail. And each and every person is so unique in what's going on in their lives, that if you don't have a personalized, individualized approach to your particular situation, and then a doctor that can recommend things that will benefit where you're lacking, and then will also help you understand where your strengths are, you're not going to be treated properly. And that is what we do at the Slim Body Laser Spa. I sit down with you one-on-one and ask you these questions. I have an enormous Rolodex in my mind. I have a very good mind, and I know what works and what doesn't work. I know where there's problems. I know where there's not. Everyone's not going to get the same process. I hope that makes sense to you. So I'm located on East Ocean Boulevard across from the Fresh Market. I do all my own consultations. I've done the process. My family's done the process. My best friends have been through my whole process. I've treated and helped over 6,000 people right here in Martin County in the last 10 years. We average 6 to 9 inches loss around your midsection in 3 weeks or less. At the same time, while you're losing those inches, I am gathering data about your particular situation, what your goals are, what you want to accomplish. I'm like a matchmaker, but not to get you married, to find professionals that can help you with specific problems that your hammer, the guy that only has the hammer, just keeps hammering you with the same conditions, the same suggestions. There's other doctors in the area that are incredible people that are not involved, that are not associated with Cleveland Clinic. In fact, less than 40% of all MDs belong to the AMA. There's like 60 or more % of medical doctors that have no affiliation, that are fantastic people, that have skills and knowledge that, but you don't know where they are because the internet, controls the data. They control the who you go to. They're not going to tell you about the natural practitioners and the people that are open-minded and can look at you as an individual person. That's really important. Really, really important that you can sit down with your doctor and he's not pressed for time and can listen to what's going on, and somebody who, that's the way medicine should be practiced. Not this hammer and a nail theory. So I sit down with people, and our program is 3 weeks. It's 3 times a week for 3 weeks. It involves 9 30-minute laser sessions. Now, the laser is a non-invasive, FDA-cleared red light infrared process. It doesn't create any burns. It doesn't create any marks. It doesn't have any downtime. What it does is that laser energy, after applying it to the stuff you can squeeze, the outer fat. Remember, this is a subcutaneous machine, not a deep fat. That you got to eat less and exercise. This treats the outer stuff, the stuff you can pinch between your fingers, the liposuction doctor's realm. And in 8 to 10 minutes of applying the laser energy to those fatty tissues, the fat cells open up and they release the contents. They basically deflate. And that deflation is water, glycerol, and free fatty acids. And the water is absorbed very quickly by your body and then brought out by the urine. But the free fatty acids and the glycerol, these are released into the interstitial space. And that would be what surrounds the cells, between the cells. The free fatty acid is absorbed by the lymphatic system. It's transported by the lymph vessels to the lymph nodes, broken down and transferred into the circulatory system where the fats can be processed by the liver. Some of the free fatty acids are converted to triglycerides and returned to the blood. Your body burns triglycerides as energy. Other free fatty acids combine with oxygen to produce energy. The fat can be used as energy anywhere there's energy needed. The ultimate destination of the released free fatty acid is to the mitochondria of your cells. The mitochondria is your powerhouse of every cell. So 30 minutes on the laser, 400 to 600 calories are released into your visceral, into your lymphatic system. And as long as you don't eat any food for 2 hours after the laser, no food 2 hours before, so there's a 4-hour window where you're not going to eat. After the laser, you're going to burn those 400 to 600 calories. Listen, every time you do it, you see an inch loss. Every session, there's some inch loss. 9 sessions, 6 to 9 inches. And I'll document that. I'll sign that in writing when you come in. So the laser paddles are administered in 30-minute sessions. The program is 9 sessions for 3 weeks. The lipo laser procedure provides inch loss, but without the surgery, there's no pain or the extensive recovery time as with other spot fat reduction procedures. Now, in order to encourage better mobilization, to flush out those fatty acids, to help with strengthening the body, to build muscle tone back, which you know you have to do to lose weight and to be healthier, we used to tell people to go to the gym with like your doctor does. Oh, here's a sheet. You need to go to the gym. No, we do. We now have a room and it's dedicated to whole body vibration. Now, these machines are becoming much more popular. If you don't know what it is, it's a home exercise machine that you can purchase, and now we have them in the office. So you use them in the office, but we also sell them online and at the office. And this is a machine that you stand on. It looks a little bit like a Segway, one of those things that the mall cop use. You stand on it, and basically it goes up and down, side to side, very fast. And in 10 to 20 minutes, the laser, the whole body vibration, will mobilize the fatty acids and burn those calories as energy. It is an exercise machine that builds muscle tone. It helps with circulation. It strengthens the bone architecture. It reverses osteoporosis. It helps with balance. It helps with reducing stress hormones. So it raises serotonin. It produces endorphins. And this is in 10 to 20 minutes standing on this machine. Now, if you can't stand on it, you can sit in a chair and put your feet on it. And this will help with circulation to your feet. It helps with neuropathy. It helps improve tissue vivification. That's what whole body does. After the whole body vibration, you're pretty good to go. A lot of people, all they need is laser and whole body vibration, and they don't eat 2 hours before, 2 hours afterwards. In 3 weeks, you can tighten chins, get rid of the belly fat. Now, if you have a weight problem, if you're one of those unfortunate people that have allowed yourself to get overweight and become 25, 30% body fat, we can help there too. And what happens is it involves a nutritional evaluation. Sit down with me and we go over your food, what you're eating. You fill out some information. And then I have a wonderful machine called a bioimpedance analysis. It's about $2,000. And this machine calculates your body fat percentage, your body's metabolic rate, how many calories you burn. It calculates your total body water, and it also calculates your resting caloric intake. So without knowing how much body fat you have and what your rate is, what your burn rate is, and how hydrated you are, it is really hard to eat and to make changes with diet and exercise. You need to have this information. And once you understand how fat you are, you have a number, you can work towards it. Some people don't want to know. I would want to know. I want to know how much money is in my bank account so I don't overspend and end up bouncing checks. I would want to know. I would want to know, what's in my food, because I don't want to eat food that's poisonous. Yet people, when they look at their body fat, they don't want to know. To me, it's insane. You want to know. And if you don't want me to tell you, I'll keep it private and I'll still give you the tools so you can get over it. So the machine calculates your body fat percentage. And then there's something else, which is really important, called your body metabolic rate. And this is how many calories you burn in a 24-hour period. And what that means is if you were to lay down and fall asleep on the couch for 24 hours, if you were to lay for 24 hours, not eat any food and not exercise, you are burning calories to stay alive, correct? There's a certain burn rate. That number is called your resting caloric intake. And in order to be successful at losing weight, you must know that number and you must eat less than that number. Now, you can exercise more and that number goes up, but you still can't eat over that number. When I lost my weight and when I first was successful for once in my whole life at losing weight, it was because I calculated my BMR. For me, at 52 years old, I'm 59. When I was 52, my BMR was 2,400 calories. That machine said that if I don't want anything to change, if I don't change my calories, nothing's going to change for me. If I want to gain weight, I eat more than that 2,400. If I want to lose weight, I have to eat less than that. You need to know your BMR. Now, I know that people do it at gyms. They do it at weight loss center. Oh, they don't even do it at weight loss centers because they don't want to empower you with knowledge. They just want you to buy their products. But online, the BMRs can be very, very low. If your BMR is under 1,200 calories or 1,400 calories, you're in trouble. That's a problem. You have metabolic syndrome and you need to be under care with a medical professional or somebody like me to make sure that you are not eating less than 1,200 calories. That is a very low calorie amount, and it is filled with pitfalls, recidivism, low energy, weight gain, hormonal changes when you eat too little food. So the next part we go over is food planning, which is basically a daily journal. At our laser spa, we include large protein containers to get you encouraged to eat better habits with proteins. We also include something called the detox supplements. These are body purifying herbs. Your body fat stores poisons. When you go through the earth, living and breathing and driving cars and working in agriculture and working in hotels, whatever it is you do, you are absorbing poisons from the environment. Those toxins have to be stored by your body because your body cannot get rid of them as fast as you're putting them in. It's impossible. And those toxins are locked up in your fatty tissue. And your level of body fat, your BMI, your body fat percentage, there's a direct ratio to how much toxin you have in your body. If you have a lot of toxin, you're going to hold more body fat than someone that has less toxins. This is provable. This is scientific research. People that are very healthy, that are vegan, that exercise, that do yoga, they don't get fat because they don't put poisons in. They're not putting as much toxin in their body. People who are exposed to toxins from the environment, or they're putting it into their body by their food choices, they're the ones that are really vulnerable for organic poisoning, and this affects your fatty tissue. If you don't get rid of the toxin, you cannot be successful at weight loss. So our program handles that problem with a simple detox supplement. They're body purifying herbs. Combine that with the laser, which increases blood supply, whole body vibration, which helps with circulation and gets rid of the excess fluid. And then your little carrier molecules, the cleaning system, are these detox supplements. We do measurements before and after, first visit, fifth visit, ninth visit. We take digital pictures before and after. We also have, which is unheard of in aesthetics or weight loss industry, a 3-inch loss guarantee in 9 sessions in writing. You get lots of support from me and my staff with scheduling, accommodating available times, extra nutritional help for those who need it. So If you're interested in finding out about it, we are celebrated our 10th year anniversary. In 10 years, I've successfully taken care of over 6,000 clients. I never would have thought when I began as the Stewart Laser Spa in an extra room in my chiropractic office that I would grow in such success and would change so many people's lives with safe, effective laser-assisted weight loss. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me this opportunity to tell you of what I do at the spa. I want you to know that COVID is not going away, people. There'll be another pandemic someday. There'll be another virus. There'll be more germs. There'll be more worms and parasites. This is something that humans have dealt with since the beginning of time. You're just more aware of it because of the media. You know where it is. They track it like they would track a storm, like they would track a tornado. But this has always been going around the earth, and you need to be healthy. So when these problems, these epidemics, and these trends manifest, that you're okay. And let me tell you, being healthy does have to do with where you choose to live, and how clean the environment is. There's no doubt that Stuart, Florida, and Treasure Coast, and many areas in Florida have had very low COVID rates. It's not because that there's no COVID here. It's because we're a healthy community. We go out in the sun, we get fresh air. We don't go and cram ourselves in trains and buses to go to work. There's issues that come with being able to move away from that stuff. And so please come out, support your local businesses in the area. I can't tell you how much people are hurting in our community. The stores, when you go by this Treasure Coast Mall and you see that it's completely closed down except for a few stores and like the Starbucks, that should be a shocking thing to you to see that. To go down to downtown Stuart and see all the stores that are closed, the malls that are having troubles. We got to get out and start moving around our world again. This is a very low risk area. You are not in the same risk factor that New York and these high metropolitan areas are. So don't be fooled by that. That doesn't mean you don't protect yourself if you're vulnerable and you don't, you have your distance from anybody, but that's normal stuff. I wash my hands before I eat food. I wash my hands when I come out of the bathroom. You should have been doing that a long time ago. Right? You shouldn't get inside somebody's face and spit at them when you talk. That's not acceptable. So we're learning these things that we should have known a long time ago. All right. If you want any to come in and get some help, I'm where I am. I'm at Stuart, East Ocean Boulevard. My phone number is 772-223-5885. It's drtred.com. Go to your cell phone, hit Siri, hit Alexa, and say, Dr. Tred, Slim Body Laser Spa. Boom, you'll get my contact page. We have free consultations. We're there to serve. We are wide open. We're just getting back to being busy again. Thank you, Lord, because I know we can help more people. I hope I resonated with something in this talk today. It was very passionate on my part. I really, I just want to help you. Okay? So we'll see you next week, and hopefully we'll have some of you come into the spa. God bless, and remember to be kind to each other.